appetizing, soft, airy, from available products. A lush classic charlotte with apples in the oven is the simplest and most delicious pie. In this version, salt is added to the dough, which makes its taste very interesting. Moderately sweet, this dough goes very well with apples. How to bake a lush classic charlotte with apples in the oven. Prepare all the necessary ingredients. Choose green, sweet and sour, and not very juicy apples. Due to excessive humidity, baking may not rise well. Take dense fruits. The soft ones will fall apart when baking and turn into porridge, and we need them to retain their shape and structure. You will need 3 medium-sized apples or 5 to 6 small fruits. Turn the oven on 180 degrees in advance. In a container, combine the eggs with sugar and beat with a mixer at low speed for 3 to 5 minutes until fluffy. How to check that the egg mass is already sufficiently whipped. The mass should turn white and noticeably increase in volume, and the sugar crystals should completely dissolve. Draw a line with a whisk. If it does not disappear for 1 to 2 seconds, then the eggs with sugar are beaten well. If the trace immediately spreads and disappears, continue whipping. It is important to sift the flour to saturate it with oxygen. The splendor of baking depends on it. Since the grade and quality of flour is different, it may need a little less or more. You can read more about the properties of flour at the link at the end of this recipe. Pour the flour into the egg mass, but not all at once. Add it in small portions as much as necessary to achieve the desired consistency of the dough. It should be like thick sour cream. Continue whipping with the mixer at low speed each time. Add salt. Mix with a silicone spatula, but not for long, otherwise the dough will settle and the biscuit will turn out dense. The consistency of the dough should be smooth, homogeneous, without lumps, viscous and creamy. If everything is done correctly, the dough will drain from the spoon with a wide ribbon. Read about the biscuit dough at the end of the recipe. Wash the apples and dry them with a paper towel. Peeling apples is not required. Cut the fruit in half. Remove the core with the seeds. Cut into neat slices about 1 centimeter thick or small cubes. To prevent the fruits from darkening, sprinkle them with lemon juice. The more apples there are in the baking, the tastier. But don't overdo it. A large amount of filling will not allow the dough to rise to the desired size. Take a round shape. The capacity may be slightly larger, but then the pie will not be as high. Cover the bottom with parchment. Or smear it with butter or refined sunflower oil. The main thing is not to overdo it with fat, as this will negatively affect baking. Sprinkle the bottom and sides of the mold with flour or semolina. Lay out the apple cubes. If you cut into slices, place them in a fan. Pour the dough on top of the apples. Twist the mold so that the biscuit mass fills the entire space between the apple plates. Bake the pie for about 30 to 40 minutes until golden brown. To prevent the biscuit from settling, do not open the oven for the first 20 minutes. Perhaps the baking temperature will need to be reduced or increased. It all depends on your oven. How to check the readiness of baking. Pierce the dough with a dry wooden skewer. If it came out dry, then the apple charlotte is ready. Carefully remove the finished cake from the mold and cool. Sprinkle with powdered sugar. Have a nice tea party.